Why hasn't Middle America given Paige Bueckers the Caitlin Clark treatment? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for checking out this video. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Shout out to the 19 market, Paul. Uh, so yeah, this is a wild ride. We have got to talk about this article from Eaton Thomas. I think he pronounces it that way, Etan. I've seen his name before, but this is a fever dream of delusional grievance that we just gotta talk about a little bit. The Yukon Star has embraced Black America rather than being pitted against it. It means she has not been lionized in the same way as a similarly brilliant player. Let me see if I can sum up Caitlin Clark's popularity in a sentence. She is well, maybe it won't be a sentence. She is a one of one female talent who plays the game in an exciting and entertaining way that we have never seen on the women's side before. There. That is why she has been insanely popular. And then they've gotten to know her. They like her personality. She's just got that it factor, right? That charisma, that screen presence, as they say, if you're talking about acting, where you think, oh, why is that person a star? And that's not, that one's the better actor. Well, the other one might have that screen presence that brings the eyeballs, that gets people to want to watch them. It just is what it is. But let's get into some of this stuff down here. To bounce back from a series of serious injuries is amazing in itself, but to come back arguably better than she was before deserves a standing ovation. And yet Beckers doesn't receive the same fawning attention from large parts of white America as Clark, a player of similar skills. Why? Uh, okay, similar skills is absolutely delusional. Paige is a heck of a player, but to say they have similar skill sets is it's truly bizarre. So, as you can see from where we're going, that this he's arguing his premise is going to be that Caitlyn is celebrated due to her whiteness. Paige is not as popular because despite her skin color, she's actually black on the inside. That is what we're starting with. Yes, it is grievance baiting trash. We all know that's not the reason. But yeah, that's where he's going, as we will see um further down. So what? Sorry, I got lost to where I was. Perhaps, here we go. Perhaps it's because, unlike Clark, Beckers has always been outspoken about issues off the court. At the 21 ESPYs, Becker was named the College Athlete of the Year. She used her acceptance speech to celebrate and honor Black women in particular. Only 19 at the time, she told the audience that in the previous WNBA season, 80% of the postseason awards were won by Black players, but they received a fraction of the coverage given to their white peers. Yeah, I don't even know about that part of it. I don't know if that's true because, and to the large point, no one was watching the WNBA. So Paige, let me back that up. A lot of Caitlin Clark fans who came from watching Clark at Iowa into the WNBA had no idea that this speech even happened. No idea. By the way, while not as long as a speech or as big of a deal, Caitlin Clark said similar things in her Time article as well this year. So I don't know why we're going back to 2021 while Black America cheered Beckers. It seemed like mainstream white America, a demographic that once viewed her as, in her words, a media darling, weren't singing her praises quite as much and still don't. Is this coincidence? She's back from injury now, so why aren't people as focused on Beckers as they were on Clark last season when she was tearing up college basketball? Maybe if Beckers had delivered a more vanilla ESPY speech, things would have been different. They would not be different in any way, shape, or form. Paige is very popular. Other players are very popular. None of them are Caitlin Clark for the simple reason I said before. Caitlin Clark is the first to play the game in the style that she does that makes her exciting and entertaining, something that, sorry, the women's game has never had, and that's what drew people to it. Now, I think this, like, if we can look at this, Someone reposted this in WMA Facebook group, and I said, just going to leave this here. UConn women's basketball team draws first Big East tournament sellout since 2001. Like, Paige is popular. Paige is popular. So it's absurd. She's just not Caitlin Clark. And no one is. It's like no one's Michael Jordan. That's just the way it is. And then, of course, we knew this was coming. Another factor, the Angel Reese effect. Women's college basketball ratings surged in the last two NCAA tournaments. Some of that was due with the excellence of the players on show, but it's a weird sentence. But some of it was for less edifying reasons. Much of the media made Reese the villain to Clark's heroine after the Black Princess upstaged the Great White Hope in the 23 NCAA tournament championship game. The viral image of Reese defiantly waving her hand in front of her face, the same taunt Clark had used in a previous game, transformed Clark and Reese from great players to lightning rods for racial animus. So, is that true? I'm curious. Let me see. Is that true? Were they actually the same thing? So there's that. That lasted about what? Maybe not even a second. And then we got this. Yeah, I don't know about you, but they're not the same thing. But I've talked about that in a previous video, but they're definitely not the same thing. But again, it just goes to show his narrative and having very, very poor research skills as well. I'm not sure how this got published. And then of course it continues. It people who had no interest in women's basketball suddenly became fanatics in every sense of the word for all the worst reasons. They were there to cheer Clark's whiteness and attack Reese's blackness, not their talent. Uh, when she was drafted, he says Clark repeatedly asked fans not to weaponize her, but it didn't stop her becoming a dubious hero for bigots. Again, none of this is true. Yes, Caitlin was asked about it repeatedly because they worked so hard to get it to where I think she made the comment about, she doesn't pay attention to online stuff or trolls, people shouldn't be doing that, blah, 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 and she doesn't pay attention to it. She did not repeatedly ask fans not to weaponize her. But yeah, absolutely wild. Meanwhile, there's been no black villain for Bueckers to compete against. The fact that that has meant she has gained less attention and adoration from middle America says a lot about the state of the country. Did you catch that sentence? He's saying it is a fact. He's putting those two together. The fact that Paige Bueckers doesn't have a black villain, that is why middle America doesn't like her. I don't know where he gets fact out of that. Oh my head's starting to hurt. And then, yes, no, he ratchets it up. It gets even more crazier. He's got his fever dream of delusion. By the way, he clearly wants to, as you will see coming up, he clearly wants to date Paige Bueckers. I think that's part of it too. I think there's a little bit of fantasy crush in this to go along with his grievance and grifting. During Ramadan, Bueckers cooks breakfast for her Muslim teammates, sings gospel songs, in parentheses, the black versions, uh, has a level of connection with her black teammates that truly resembles a sisterhood, was raised by her black stepmother, has black stepbrothers and sisters, has had black boyfriends, designated herself an ally to her black teammates. This is wild. By the way, and serious question on this, because I really don't know. So I'm not, not mocking, not making fun. I am serious. Has Paige had black boyfriends? I don't care. I think it's just more the boyfriend's part? Did she switch teams? Is she working for both? Like, it's again, there's where the fantasy part comes in. I think this is kind of more of a wish. She throwing it out there in the universe, hoping he gets a date with Paige Bueckers. Is that's what happening? All of this simply does not sit well with that certain demographic who embraced Clark and championed her for the wrong reasons. Um, I didn't know any of this about Becker's, this part right here, until I read this. So, and I'm guessing 99.99% of Clark fans had no idea either. So it's kind of bizarre that he has that in there. But I'll tell you what, shout out and props to all satire writers and satire websites out there because I don't know how you do it nowadays. I mean, like, if you just gave me the article to this. You sent it to me, you emailed it to me or whatever, and I would and you said, "Hey, this is from a satire site." I would 100% believe you because I read this and I think this can't be real. There can't be a human being who actually thinks this and then writes it to get published for the world to see, and then it goes through the level of editors and what have you to actually publish it on a supposedly reputable, rather large news site, The Guardian. This is absolutely wild. But you gotta understand something. Articles like this, people are done, which is why you're gonna get people listening to me talk about it because we're done. Like, people are not cowering in fear about this nonsense anymore. This is a major reason why people don't take the WNBA seriously and the WNBA media seriously because of nonsense like this. Again, CC is more exciting to watch. That's it. That is it right there. There's nothing else to it. Period. They don't like Paige Bueckers basketball much. If you asked any true basketball fan and they were being honest, they say, you want to watch Caitlin Clark play or you want to watch Paige Bueckers play, they're going to say Caitlin Clark. Period. That's it. Paige is a good player for what she does, but just like I said, what you do, she does that little things better, but she's no different. She doesn't have that flair. She's passive. It's just blah. It's blah performed well, but it's still blah. But yeah, so this article says she's got black boyfriends and she doesn't have a black villain and she speaks out for black people. And that's why middle America doesn't like her. This is an insult to Paige, who, by the way, is very popular. Like I said, she's just not on Caitlin Clark's level. The man is basically saying he's got a fantasy saying Paige is black, and Clark's fans realize that, so they're not supporting her. Well, okay. I hate to use the word ally because I just hate the way it's used. I don't. It just, there are a whole lot of white people who would say they're allies. So why aren't they watching Paige? Why aren't all the black people watching Paige? We're talking tens of millions of people. This is wild. They're using Paige in the same way they say that Caitlin Clark's fans are using Caitlin Clark. Isn't that wild how that works? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I don't even know where to go from here other than to say this is just like insane. And thankfully, a lot of people on Twitter are pushing back on this, letting him know that it is insane. But again, Paige very, very popular, just not Caitlin Clark. And this guy is everything, everything to him. The difference between the two in popularity can be chalked up to race. All of it. Absolutely wild. I'm going to leave it there. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Appreciate you checking out this video. Don't forget to smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll talk to you later.